Hi, it's Tony Robbins. Listen, if you're taking a moment right now to watch this video, then obviously there's something in your life you want to change, improve, take to the next level. There's an area where you want real results. What I'm doing is not just about inspiration. Certainly we need to be inspired. We need to find our passion, but it's also about strategy. Right now, I really want to just give you an idea of how we can get you results in the areas of your life that really matter to you most. And maybe some areas where you made a change, but the change didn't last. And maybe show you why it didn't last and how we can get lasting results. Why people who go through our programs, you often use the phrase, life was never the same again after they experience this. Here's the challenge. People talk about change all the time. And what I tell people is, change is automatic. You don't have to work on change. Whether you want to or not, your body's going to change over the years. Your relationships are going to change. The economy clearly is going to continually change. Businesses are going to change. So everything's in constant flux. We like to pretend it's not, but it's happening automatically. So you don't have to work on change. Change is automatic, but progress is not. If you want to make progress, you need a plan, a simple strategy, and some ongoing simple habits to get the result you want. And you've got to measure yourself so you make the progress and end up where you really want to be. So let me make this process really simple to give you an idea of what we do in all of our programs. I don't care what area of life you want to take on. We start with the end in mind. We ask you the very simple question of, what do you really want today? Most of us are so busy in our lives today reacting to our environment with the stresses of our businesses and our families and trying to take care of our bodies and everything else. And constantly we're interrupted. Today, you don't just have meetings and phone calls. You've got, constant emails and texts and people in a conversation. They don't even talk to you. They're looking at their little phone while you're having a speaking experience with yourself, basically. So today, with all these demands, all this stimulus, most of us don't take the time to stop and ask ourselves, what do I want today? What matters most to me today? What's going to make me feel filled up so there's more of me to give to everybody else that I love and care about and that I want to serve? Because if we don't take care of this part, the level of stress that most people live in makes them act and behave and do things that they regret in their lives. And life's short. We all know in a heartbeat, time goes by and 10 years from now, you're going to arrive someplace. The question is where? And if you don't decide now where that's going to be, and if you don't take control of it, you'll just be swept up with the energy of the moment, and you're probably not going to arrive where you really want to be. So think about it today. If I asked you today, what would an extraordinary life look like for you today? Extraordinary life is life on your terms, not mine, not somebody else's. If you come to our events, you'll see the diversity of people from, a guy like Steve Wynn who helped build Las Vegas, an unbelievably successful businessman who operates in a certain world. And then you'll see a young man with tattoos and earrings all over his body, ready to rock and roll and take it to the next level. We serve people now in more than 100 countries around the world. I've worked now with 3.5 million people, actually 4 million people now. They just updated the numbers after the last 3 or 4 years, from over 100 countries. And we're helping the people with every area of their life. But it starts with everybody at the same place. What do you want now? Because what you wanted at 16 is different than 25 or 35 or 40 or 50 or whatever stage of life you're in right now. And a lot of times we just get caught up in this old story of living the life that got designed by somebody many years ago, not by you today. And here's what's really true. If you looked at your life today and said, life on my terms, this is what it would look like, what were the elements that would create an extraordinary life for you? There'd be an element of physical energy, wouldn't there be? A feeling of vitality, strength, being proud of your body, having the power to get things done. That's one of the 7 areas that we focus on. There'd be the area of your life that's quality called your emotions. Where do you live emotionally? Are you in a position where you wake up every day just excited about the day? Not some phony, pumped up excitement. That's not what we teach here. You'll never have me teach you to go to your garden and chant, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. We're not into that positive thinking BS. You may think so because I have a lot of passion and I do believe in inspiration, but I also believe in intelligence. I believe in seeing things as they are and then not making it worse than it is so you don't have to try. And then seeing it better than it is so you have a vision to go after, and then figuring a way to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be and making it happen. So if you looked at your life and you said, the areas that matter, my body, my emotions, do I have the passion that I want for my work, for my relationship? Do I feel a sense of meaning in my life? Or have I allowed myself to get caught up in making a living and not actually design my life? That's what we change. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take a lot of time. We do it in a way that's total immersion and fun. What's another area of your life that really matters? Clearly, the way in which you deal with your relationships. You know, most people today have settled in this area as well because in the beginning they had this passion and this love, and now it's a friendship at best. And people think, oh, only certain people are lucky enough to have that, but there are certain strategies and skills that make that difference. And when you apply them, you can change your relationship. You can transform by transforming yourself, and then they'll have an impact on your partner. An area of life that matters clearly to all of us is time. And most people have very little mastery of this. I don't mean checking things off your list. I'm meaning squeezing out of your life what matters to you most. Really shifting the way you deal with time. Your career, where is it now? Your work, or hopefully it's your mission. You know, where are you financially compared to where you want to be? And especially with some of the changes that have happened in the economies around the world. And then finally, where are you in your level of sense of meaning, of contribution, and your sense of celebration in life? These are the areas that really matter most. And we help you to sit down and define what this looks like for you today. And invariably what we find out is almost everybody has some gaps. Gaps between where you are and where you want to be, if we're honest. And even if you've done incredibly well, I mean, I deal with some of the most successful people in the world, they're usually still happy in their life because they're hungry. They haven't lost that drive that says, look, what makes me feel alive is to know I'm growing. You know, if my life's going to get better, I got to get better. I can't just hope it. And if my life is going to be rich emotionally, it's got to be expanding. And they know that. So here's the tendency for most of us. If you work your tail off at work to take care of your family and be the best at what you can do, your career's going really well. Usually you don't have enough time with your kids. And there's a part of you that's affected by that. Or if you're really close to your kids, then your intimate relationship is probably suffering. Or if your intimate relationship's really supported, your finances are probably out of whack. Or if your finances are going great, I'm sure you've not taken care of your body. Isn't that the nature of human beings? We tend to focus on things we feel confident in, we know what to do in, and the other stuff we kind of hope it all comes together and try not to think about it too much, but it all affects us. In fact, if you want, when you're done with this video, we've created a cool little, fun little kind of workshop. It's 15 minutes, or you can just do 5 minutes to see where your life is, where it's in balance, where it's out of balance. It's a fun little tool. We call it, kind of our first step, kind of change your life, a little 15-minute workshop. It costs you nothing. You can do it online here with us if you want to go deeper on this. But my point is, you got to start with what it is you really, truly want now. You got to start with that end in mind. And then once you understand there is a gap between where you are and where you want to be, here's all we do. We believe that the most powerful way to change anything is total immersion. If you want to learn a language and you have the privilege, you do what kids do. You'd fly to Italy if you're going to learn Italian, and you'd live in the environment, and you know you'd pick it up because you'd be living it, breathing it, experiencing it. Our focus is immersion coaching. We like to do it with events, total immersion, with a coach one-on-one who follows up with you a couple times a month, just for a few minutes to keep you on target. And then we have individual products, which allow you to use what I call net time, no extra time, where you can be driving your car, you can be working out, you can be cleaning the house, and you can take in that repetition of those ideas that'll move you forward, those strategies, those tools, until you don't just know them intellectually, they're in your body emotionally, and you're doing it. Lots of people know what to do, but they don't do what they know because they haven't been through this immersion, this conditioning process that gets us to go from understanding and awareness to action. And we all know the only thing we get rewarded for is action in life. So this immersion process really allows you to do 3 things. It allows you, first of all, to totally focus on what matters to you now. You know whatever you focus on, it's going to improve. If you look at the areas of your life that you're happy with, if I said, what's an area you're really happy with? You might say, well, my career, or my relationship with my kids, or my relationship with God, or I'm in great physical shape, whatever it is. The areas you're really happy, it's not hard to figure out. You focus on them a lot, because wherever focus goes, energy flows. We get you completely focused on what matters most to you. And then the second key to making progress, once you're focused and clear what you really want, and you're putting that energy there, is you don't want to just put energy. You don't want to just be positive. You need a strategy. You need a proven strategy that already works. You need a pathway of power to cut you through to get where you want to go in the fastest period of time possible, the shortest period of time possible. So the way we do that is through a process we call modeling. If you've ever wondered, where does that guy with the big teeth get all this material? I don't just channel it all. I learned early in my life from a teacher. When I was first starting out, grew up in a very tough environment financially in our home. I had 4 different fathers. When I met my 4th father, I said, Mom, I'm confused, So I had a drive to make life better because I loved people and I wanted to make a difference. I experienced a lot of pain physically and financially and a lot of other areas in our family. And so I looked for answers. And I found answers in books initially and audio tapes, which I listened to constantly. That's how I got involved in this. This all changed me. That's why I can talk about it with such passion and congruity, because it's worked. I know it works, not only for me, but millions of other people, but I've lived it. But I'll tell you the biggest thing was getting mentors, people that could really teach me, finding people that had gotten results. And one of my first mentors, one of my first coaches, said to me, he said, Tony, tell me what you want in your life. I talked about how I wanted to make a difference and I wanted to change physically because I used to be massively overweight, 38 pounds heavier than I am now. And I used to feel alone and lonely. I'd walk in a room with 50 people at a party and I felt like totally separate. I had all these things I wanted to change. And then all these things I wanted to do to help change the world. You know, when you're 17 years old, 18 years old, you have this mindset. I fortunately haven't lost it, embarrassingly so, but also passionately so. And so the bottom line is, I share all these things and he looked at me and he said, look, whatever you want to make happen in your life, you can make it happen, but whatever you want, you got to master it. Don't be a dabbler. Don't try a thing or two and say it didn't work. Just commit to something with all of your focus and go and find the way. If it doesn't work, change your approach. That doesn't work, change your approach. And don't give up, you'll get there if you also save yourself time by learning through other people's experiences. He taught me a phrase I'll never forget. He said, success leaves clues. His name was Jim Rohn. He said, Tony, think of it this way. Successful people are not successful because they're lucky. They're doing something. If they got successful one time, maybe they're lucky, but if they keep doing something, they're doing really well physically, they're doing something. If they've got a great relationship, they're not lucky. You can say they're lucky, but they're doing things differently than other people. If the person is really happy, they're doing something different than the person who makes himself depressed all the time. Success leaves clues. And I never forgot that. So he said, study what it is you want to master. You want to be happy? Study happiness. You want to be healthy? Study health. You want to be in a position where you're financially successful? Study people that are wealthy. Find out what they do. He said also, study poor people. He said, I don't mean just poor emotionally and psychologically, spiritually, financially, all levels. Find out what poor people read, he said, and don't read it. He said, because that's what they're feeding their mind. You've got to feed your mind the tools, the philosophy, and the strategy that allows you to master something. He philosophically shaped me to this day. His name is Jim Rohn again, and he passed away a few years ago, and he was an incredible soul in my life, and he left me with a legacy that I took and ran with. So here's how I build all of our products and services and how we do it as a company. We find people that are the best in the world at what they do. People that are getting incredible results. We figure out what they did, we break it down into steps, and that becomes your strategy. So you're not just focused, because you could have a goal that you want to see a sunset, and your goal is focused. I'm going to see the sunset tonight. I'm going to do whatever it takes. But your strategy is to start running east to see the sunset. I don't care how positive you are. You're not going to see the sunset. We're not here to just be positive thinkers. We're here to be strategists to get the results. So, for example, when I want to change my energy and I want to take it to a different level early in my life, I said, who's the most energetic endurance athlete in the world who's not doing it full time, not a professional? Somebody like me who's got a job, who's got a mission of his own. I found a man that ran 1,000 miles in 11 days. His name is Stu Middleman. 1,000 miles in 11 days, and then he did that in his 30s. He ran, 80-something miles a day for 11 straight days. You say, Tony, well, he's a freak of nature. What's that got to do with me? Wouldn't you like to know how to create that kind of energy? He wasn't a runner when he was a kid. He wasn't into it. When he was 50, he decided to run from San Diego to New York City, and he broke the world record. I think it was 52 miles a day for like 52 straight days. Think 2 marathons a day for a couple months. How do you train yourself to do that? You might not want to be that fit, but wouldn't you like to have that kind of energy for your relationship, for your career, for your kids, to feel alive? I wanted it. I figured out what he did, and I teach it to this day. If you want to do well financially, I have a unique privilege. For 17 years now, consecutive years, I've had the privilege of working with one of the top 10 financial traders in the history of the world. This is a man who in 1987, when the stock market crashed and everybody's freaking out, he made $500 million that day when $500 million actually meant something. These days, it doesn't seem to mean much, at least not in government. But that's a whole other story, isn't it? Here's the point. This guy made all this money and then he lost money for the next 3 or 4 years. I was brought to him by Pat Riley. He was the coach of the Lakers, the New York Knicks, the Miami Heat. I'd helped Pat in some areas, and he said, you got to work with Tony. He goes, I don't need any positive thinking. He said, Tony's not a positive thinker. It's not about pumping you up. He said, it's about figuring out what you did when you were the best so you can get back on track. So I worked with him. For 17 years, he's made money every single year during that time. In fact, In 2008, if you remember, when trillions of dollars were dropping and hedge funds were losing 20, 30, 40, 50% or more, this man made 23% that year. Now, I coach him literally. He sends me something each day. I coach him over the time. I see him in person 3 or 4 times a year. And that process is strategy. And from him, I've learned so many strategies around wealth. You don't have to have billions of dollars to understand how to deal with fear, how to deal with greed, how to shift yourself financially. So I'm always looking for the best. If somebody has lost 200 pounds, I want to know how they did it. If somebody is working half as much time as you are, and they're in supposedly a terrible economy and they're making 3 times as much money, wouldn't you want to know what they're doing to figure that out? That's what we do in all of our events, all of our products, and all of our coaching. We take the proven pathways that can be shortcuts for you for results, and we teach you how to do them. Now, think about this. If you know exactly what you want, and you've got the tools that really work, you're not running east looking for a sunset, you got something that's proven, now the secret is, why wouldn't you apply it? I mean, some people know what they want, they even know what they should do, but they still don't do it. Because the thing that holds people back in the end is inner conflicts, conflicting emotions, desires, double agendas, right? You want to make everybody happy and be true to yourself. You want to be totally successful in all sense, including financial terms, and have no one judge you. You want to sleep till noon and make $1 billion, whatever those inner conflicts are. You have something you really desire, but you also have this conflict of afraid that you can't get it and you don't want to be disappointed. Those inner conflicts make us take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. Those inner conflicts, if they're not solved, nothing else changes. And this is my deepest experience, this is my deepest expertise. This is why I get the phone call from the athlete burning down, or the kid that I gotta help turn around, or the person who's suicidal, or the businessman who's doing well and wants to go to the next level, or the company that needs to turn around now because there's no financing left, there's no cash, and they've got to shift things. I've gotten those calls for 30 plus years and how to produce results right now. And the way I do it is get them focused, get in the strategies that work, find the conflicts between people or within themselves, resolve that, and all your energy moves you forward. And you may still have ups and downs, but you're gonna make progress. You're gonna get from where you are to where you really wanna be. Does it make sense? Well, it took a little time, but this is our process. Just think of it this way, total immersion. This is results coaching with a total immersion experience, so that you don't just get the stuff intellectually, but you follow through. And there are lots of choices of how to go about it, but our 3 tools that I use is, I use what I call E-cubing. I want to make 3 things happen for you. I want to make sure that when you listen to this, when you go to this event, when you get coached, you look forward to it. That it's something that lifts you, that's something that excites you, not some fake positive, just be positive, even though the world's in a terrible place. It's like, let's look at what's real and let's deal with it, but let's take back control of our lives. That's what the process is about. And so we make it fun. And so the first E is it's got to be entertaining, because we're no longer in an information society. You and I both know that. I mean, there's so much information. We're drowning in information. We're starving for some wisdom. And so getting to that stuff that matters, that's what this is about. If you want to know what kind of economy we're on, we're not in an entertainment economy even anymore. I think we're in an attention economy. Think about it. What's the hardest thing to get control of? What's the scarcest thing in the world today? Attention. And I've asked for a lot of yours here, but I can also deliver a lot for you. I can promise you that, because everything I have is a money-back guarantee. And if you're gonna give us the gift of your attention, we're gonna give you the gift of the result you want. And if we don't deliver it, we'll give you back everything. That's the way we live. That's how we built our brand. That's how I built my reputation over 3.5 decades, all around the world with 4 million people from every walk of life. So we'll deliver for you. But think about it. Getting someone's attention today, where they're constantly looking at their phone and being texted and tweeting, nothing wrong with all those things, but sometimes you've got to stop and focus on what matters. And we can have an opportunity to help you do that. And we make it so entertaining, you're pulled to do it. I mean, imagine going to a weekend seminar that over 3.5 days is almost 50 hours. People say, I wouldn't sit for a 2-hour movie. People won't sit for a 3-hour movie that someone spent $300 million to make. That's the truth. And people come to our events from all over the world. They can vote with their feet and get their money back at any time, and they don't. Imagine, what do you think happens that makes people come to an event where they maybe got dragged by somebody, they had no intention of going there, they were totally skeptical, and now they're having the time of their life? It's because we understand how to meet your needs and show you how to meet your own needs long term. Needs are more than goals, it's something deeper. But the point is, we do it through immersion. We do it through an experience that's amazing and entertaining. The second part is we educate you. We give you the tools that matter. And the third part is we empower you. While you're learning this, you do things so that you actually get out there and produce the changes and results that are lasting. So you make real progress. So you get to where you really want to be. So we cube it and we deliver it 3 ways. Here are your choices. Come to an event. Event is total immersion. Come in one weekend and just change every aspect of your life. And you can look at the testimonials from people from every walk of life, from business people, educators, politicians, sports figures, celebrities, to mom and dad and kids that have made gigantic changes. People that, lost 263 pounds out of one seminar session, and they've never gone back, and it's 10 years later and they've lost it all. People that are in a position where their relationship was over and they just knew there was no way to put it back together. And they're not only back together, they have passion and love now. People that have turned around their companies, taken things to another level. The testimonials are there. All you got to do is give yourself a chance to say, one weekend, why don't I give myself a shot? Why don't I give myself a little time for myself? Second way you can do this is with a coach. And this 3-step process is how we do it. We put you in an event, total immersion, and when you get a coach who works with you one-on-one. 20, 30, 40 minutes, twice a month or 3 times a month, depending on what you want, and they work with you to get the results that you really want in your life. Just checking in, following through, making sure you stay on target. And then thirdly, we have some killer products. Products designed to give you that net time, no extra time, where you can keep immersing yourself. So the ideal is all 3 of those in a package for you, but you can start wherever you want. Come to an event if you will, or get a coach and get a product, or just get a product, get yourself started. In fact, I want to serve you. We've developed our reputation by getting real results. Robbins equals results. That's what we're proud of in this area. And we're your partner. You got to do it, but we can help you in extraordinary ways. So when you're done watching this video, take some kind of action to move yourself forward. Do something. Get yourself signed up for an event, get a product or a service or coaching. But if you want to test the water and you're not sure and you're a little skeptical, we're totally cool with that. We've given you an opportunity here where you can actually get one of our products for a trial for 30 days. And literally for $15, try a product, see if it's worthwhile, send it back if you don't. We've got a free coaching session you can try here. Or you can go and use some of our tools online here. There's a couple tools here that can help you understand your own patterns. And they cost a couple $100. We've done in corporate America, and we've made it free here on our website. We have some blogs and videos, but here's what I can tell you. If you really want progress, commit to master. Don't dabble. Put both feet in and go for it. You're not going to lose. The only way life gets better is not by hoping. You and I both know that. Life gets better by changing ourselves. If you want your life to be better, you and I have to get better. That's our expertise here at Robbins Research. And I hope we have the privilege to be able to serve you, and I have a chance to coach you, either directly at an event or potentially through our coaches or through our products. And I hope maybe someday I'll get a chance to meet you personally. I live to hear the stories of how people have changed their lives, and proud to be a partner with millions of people from around the world, and hope we can find a way to serve you in this process. So thanks for your patience. I get a little carried away. You can see there's no script here. This is just raw and real. But if you want to go to the next level, take a step now. And thank you for the privilege of your time and your attention, and hopefully the opportunity to serve you. God bless to you, and live strong and live with passion.